brilliant attorney. We were so fortunate to have him work with us on the South Carolina case and other cases you'll be hearing a little bit about today. Let me just put it this way, in the simplest way I can. If you want to have a fight about democracy, there is no one better to have on your side than our next speaker. Please welcome Harry Kresky.
Thank you. The legal victory we're celebrating tonight is part of a constitutional conflict taking place in America between the controlling authority of the political parties and the voters' access to the democratic process. As many of you know, the South Carolina litigation was our second round with the Republican Party in their efforts to close the primaries. In Idaho, South Carolina, and 15 other states, they have nonpartisan registration, and every voter has the right to participate in the primary election of their choice. In Idaho, let me remind everybody, the Republican Party persuaded the federal court to declare the open primary unconstitutional. We've appealed. We're incredibly fortunate to have with us tonight my co-counsel in the Idaho litigation, a wonderfully talented and committed attorney who we met when he was chair of the Idaho Reform Party way back when. He is serving as lead counsel on the appeal, Gary Allen of the firm of Givens Personal. And a shout out to Anna Chung, a New York law student, who's volunteered and done a great research job on the Idaho appeal. Background on the South Carolina litigation. The case began when, like in Idaho, a right-wing faction of the Republican Party wanted to close its primaries. South Carolina is different than Idaho in some important respects. First, we won. Second, we put together a powerhouse coalition of interveners. The South Carolina Independence Party, led by Wayne Griffin, City Councilman from Greer, who's in the room with us tonight, as Jackie noted. The South Carolina Constitution Party, the Progressive Network Education Fund, the Columbia Tea Party, and 13 members of the Black Legislative Caucus of the South Carolina House of Representatives, led by Representative Joe Neal, who's also in the room. Is not automatic, and when the court granted us intervener status, we knew that our issues were resonating with the court. At least we hope so, and we found out that they were. On a conference call with participants, Representative Neal told us that the last time South Carolina had closed primaries was in the days of Jim Crow, and he feared a return to that racially polarized electoral framework. Representative Neal understands that partisanship divides Americans, while nonpartisan reform brings us together. And when I traveled to Greenville to argue our case, I had the pleasure of meeting in person our local counsel, Fletcher Smith, who's also here with us this evening. Like Gary Allen, Fletcher is working pro bono, and it's been an honor to work with them. The open primary issue will one day find its way to the Supreme Court, and when it does, a key factor will be the foundation that was laid, not just legally, but politically, through the coalition that is strongly represented in this room. Tonight, we're going to present 3 Independent Spirit Awards. I'd like to bring up our first presenter. She's an educator, a developmental psychologist, a founder of the All Stars Project, who ran for president as an independent, setting new standards of achievement